following program has been classified M. It is recommended for mature audiences. It contains occasional coarse language.
I have a very strong belief that people die the way they live.
The last thing on my mind was what it wound up being. Before I'd even got off the table, he said, you know, you need to see your GP immediately. And I said, well, I'm busy this afternoon. I've got a full diary. And he just put his hands on my shoulder and he said, you're going to have to close your diary, Mr. Cherry.
When treatment fails, what do we do next?
They just die or get better, you know, one or the other. Or at least know. That would be terrific.
I'm Associate Professor Richard Chai. I'm Director of Palliative Care here at Sacred Heart Palliative Care Service, which is part of the St Vincent's Hospital. I recognize that all the patients who are referred to me will eventually die from the illness. I see dying well and living well before a patient passes on is more important to me than the death itself.
My name's Mark Cherry. I'm 50. Coinciding with my 50th birthday was a stage 4 diagnosis of lung cancer, which came as a bit of a shock. Yeah. The C word, yeah. I'm thinking about it as the C word, the S-E-A word. It's like an angry wave, and we just have to deal with it like a lot of other angry waves in the past.
The wait and see word.
Yeah, or the wait and see word. Yeah, it's good too, yeah. One guy from down the beach, I just saw him on the street. I was going for a walk, and I was moving along the footpath in shock, and he was a bit older than me, top bloke, and I saw him, he's with his sister and his wife, and he said, how you going? And I told him, just like that, I said, I think I'm dying, mate. I don't know if I'll be around for much longer. And his wife started crying, and there's nowhere to go. You sort of lay that on, and I wished I hadn't said anything, you know. Obviously the answer is, not bad, mate, how about you? But he caught me off guard, so, yeah. Well, I guess the best thing in my life at the moment is my daughter. Her name's Del Scout Drew Cherry. It's this amazing little girl who's come into my life. She's just opened this thing in my heart that I don't even know there's a door there. It's astonishing. You know, that real agape love, that real take a bullet for you love. I'd heard about that sort of love, you know. But I think that I just didn't have the capacity to really understand it until I had a baby, and it's tremendous. Yeah, well, for one reason or another, Scout's mum and I aren't together, but we still see each other often, and you know, I hold her in great esteem. She's a great mother. If I can live pain-free and do the things I want to do, that would be good. Maybe stop working and maybe do a little bit more surfing and spend more time with my child. It mightn't be a bad result. But I was also a little bit worried that I might just get tied up with treatment and just be sick forever and then just, you know, cark it. So at the moment I'm kind of wrestling with that, actually, about whether to gamble with a protracted period of being unwell or just manage the symptoms and, you know, have as good a life as I can.
I think the first thing about a cancer patient and their diagnosis, what they go through, is a sense of surrealism. This is not happening to me. This is a big dream. Grief is part of everybody's illness from diagnosis. Grief occurs when there's a loss. What opportunities have been lost? Some of that grief will be easy to overcome, some not so.
Come and sit down, Mark, for a minute. Get off your feet. Centrelink granted the disability pension,
Okay.
which is great.
Yes.
So it's just, there's just one last form that we need to just, if you want to explain that one, Tam.
I started that. Are you involved in the business, the Charisse stuff? Which no, that's
Well, I am and I'm not. If someone wants me to write an article on surfing tomorrow and they're going to pay me $50, I'm going to write the article.
Yeah,
I'm at the end of my little curve,
Yeah.
and I'm going to have an opinion. I'm going to publish it.
yeah.
I personally don't want to die today and say, okay, Centrelink, I'm going to die. Do all the things that you need to do to make your life easy so that I can be buried and you'll be all happy. Because I want to get well and I want to continue to write and publish and all the rest of the things. And I don't think it's fair that I need to decommission my life in order to make them happy.
No, well, you don't.
Well, that seems to be the message that's coming through.
You shouldn't have to have all this when you're trying to be positive about your treatments and
I'm
things.
just a bit sort of bummed with
I
this
know.
dexamethasone because they've sort of put me back on this steroid that clearly doesn't agree with me.
No.
Any vexation just goes through the roof with me. With,
Yeah.
So
But
you know.
it is
Dateline Friday night, Sydney's mean streets. Well, it's not quite the cross as we know it, but shit certainly happens here. It's been a hell of a week here, sport, up and down. I've done some radiation to kill the tumours in my brain. Result unknown. Radiation is pretty unique. What I call the slab. When everyone leaves the room, the sounds and the lighting can really be something. Of course, the first stanza with the mask clamped on so tight, snap, snap, buckle, buckle, okay, snap, renders much of this impressionistic. You can't see through the mask. When the machine comes down, monitors push in, table slides into the hole in the machine, and the ray gun gets ready to do its magic. Don't really know what's achievable, but God knows the radiation near fried my brain. Well, I've been in the hospital for like 4 days. Just sort of had to come in here as, you know, as a critical incident, basically. My body just didn't cope very well with the radiation treatment for 2 weeks and then the beginning of the chemotherapy cycle. And I couldn't eat. I couldn't get to the bathroom. Had like a bad sort of bed sore. I just wasn't able to move. Just absolutely smashed. A mate took me into Vinnie's, put me in a seat in the foyer, and I was so kind of under the weather that as he went to park the car, I fell out of my chair, landed on my face in the carpet, started throwing up. I couldn't move, I just couldn't move. And I thought, oh, I'm going to die here. This is how I'm going to die, and this is fucked. And a doctor said, is that you, Mark? Someone who knew me by chance. And they scooped me up and got me out of there. So they had me all kind of on machines and stuff for that day, and then into a ward, and I was there for 3 days, and they sort of stabilised me with some antibiotics and this and that and the other. Just had a bad reaction, you know.
one of the things that we try and do at Sacred Heart or a hospice is to actually get patients out of the acute hospital. We bring them out of the hospitals to give these patients space to think, just to give them care, not to do anything with them. Even just put them into a bed and let them rest. Give them time, give them space to reflect on what they want and what they don't want.
I'm moving out today, transferring to just across the road really, to the hospice, and I'm going to get some respite there, so it's a much less medicalised environment. I'll probably be there for a little while until my condition stabilises. One thing a little bit unexpected was the sense of identity, you know, how I think about myself in the world and what I can do and what I can't do. You know, just even like really superficial things, like I had hair not long ago. You know, I could run and jump and swim and all that sort of things not very long ago. I've got lymphedema in both legs. I've got to use a walking stick. That wasn't how it was not long ago.
Ready to go?
Ready to go?
Let's go. It's funny though, because sometimes I think, oh, this might be one of the last people I talk to. Because, I mean, I didn't feel like that a couple of weeks ago, but now I'm realising that, you know, it's all kind of fragile. Not just me, but just life in general. Like, you know, looking around at people in the hospital who are likely to check out at any minute, and then I think, oh, I'm one of them. Yeah. I'm going to kick on. I got George driving. I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm pretty open-minded. I'm willing to do anything. I think it'll be okay. Is this the place, George?
Is it the place, mate?
Okay.
4 North.
I think initially I had very firm ideas about, you know, what I wanted and what I didn't want. Thanks, mate. As time went on, it became clear that I couldn't control situations both in my body and around me. So I'm more interested in listening to suggestions, yeah. I mean, I've only got one shot at this, so better get it right. Better listen to other people, people who know.
Through here. Have you been here before?
No.
Okay. All right, mate. All the best. Look after yourself, okay?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Hi everyone. Just a quick note on my movements over Easter in case you're thinking about where to send the champagne. Doctor has okayed me to pack my toys and head for Newcastle. Back Monday. Very much looking forward to seeing Scout, Mum, rest of the family. Getting some perspective on what's going on with stuff away from my bed here at Death and Dying HQ. As far as things go with me, I don't know what will happen. I hope to pull through, but the reality is this may not be what happens. My daughter may grow up without a dad, and the things that I wanted to achieve personally may be just that. Things that I personally wanted. Not things that were destined to play out. Not anything that was really important. Random SMSs and prayers, all have been gratefully received. Absolutely sterling. Love yous, Mark. These 2 bags are hospice bags. These are my show bags. This is a come home for 4 days bags. This is barrier cream. It's a bit like zinc cream. And I've got that on my back and the top of my buttocks because I've got sort of pressure sores that sort of wound through all the skin. So this is for like vomiting. If you vomit, take those. Constipation, take 3 of those twice a day. This is a Dex, the dexamethasone. It's a steroid. Get really frantic and manic with it. Temazepam. I haven't really been using it. They don't seem to help me very much. That's go to sleep drug. Oxycodone, 20 mil. I'm going to have 2 of these now because I've got some pain in my chest and back, and the trick is to get in on top of it before it gets on top of me. so they don't have to take twice as much. So. Hello. Hey. Hey, you. Hello. Hello, Puss. Hello, Puss. Hello, Scout. Woo. Just you. We're going to check the surf out. You know how you like to look for the dolphies. Where's the dolphies? Well, when I look at Scout and just to look at the way she behaves, she's a lot like me. She's looking over the fence. She's looking over the fence at the next the next yard and the next horizon, and I see that in her face really clearly. So I've got real confidence that she and I share that, and that sort of sense of, let's go. Let's not be constrained. Let's see what's happening out there, and let's be restless. Yeah, she's a beautiful little girl.
So chemotherapy is going to be tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, I hope the chemotherapy won't have such a bad effect this time and that you'll tolerate it all right and you'll feel okay. The way I would assess the chemotherapy is if you feel better having had it, then it's helping.
Yeah.
And if you feel worse having had it, then it's probably not helping.
Jeez. Yeah, okay. Oh, well. They say it's a science. I'm not sure it is sometimes. It's more like an art, what you guys do.
Somewhat, yeah.
I've had some really rough days this week, just really bad.
What kind of bad?
Well, what kind of bad? Kind of gun in my mouth bad. Kind of gun in my mouth bad. Hi. Not sure about the text last week. I may have got it but fumbled the ball. That's been happening quite a bit lately. I'm still in Sydney at the Sacred Heart Hospice. It's a very difficult place to have visitors. There are a lot of intense emotions running around here, not only with patients but with their loved ones. How weird doing a dead man walking thing. I managed to identify a bunch of things that have been troubling me about this whole process, none of which seemed as profound today as they did last night. At night it's a mystery, it's truly that. Yet in the morning there is the hint of a reveal. Not so much mystery after all. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, there's just the resident cat quietly listening as life extinguishes itself across the Sacred Heart.
Breathe in and hold your breath.
A lot of the treatment given for stage 4 cancer is really to try and prolong life, but not cure. We hear from oncologists all the time that this treatment will give you a 15% chance of response. That's what patients want to hear. What they don't want to hear is that they have an 85% chance that it will not respond. Being honest with a patient and not taking away hope, it's very difficult.
On the whole, the disease is no worse. The lesions in the liver may be a little bit smaller. They haven't gone away, they're still there. The new problem is that there's a little fracture there. which wasn't there before.
Fracture means?
The bone has actually cracked.
Right.
And it looks like the kind of fracture that's from the disease. So this is your back here, these are your hips, okay? And look, it's hard to appreciate, but can you see there's a little black line that goes through there?
Yep.
That's where the fracture is.
So there's going to be none of that surfing business, that's sort of finished now, isn't
No,
it?
it's too risky.
Yeah. What am I looking at with mortality and stuff?
If we did nothing, I don't know, it's hard to say.
Mm.
You know you don't have years, okay? I don't know whether you've got a year. You know, if you look at the odds with the brain disease, probably the statistics would say you didn't, but who says you can't be better than that? I really don't know. I don't have a number, and I can't give you a number because I'll be wrong.
Yeah. Sounds like I have to wrap my head around a whole new set of things. But I think I'll be able to do that. I think the best thing for me is to discharge from the hospice and spend some time up north with my family. In regards to the radiation treatment and the chemotherapy, I think it was good for me to have a bash at it, boss. But see you later. I don't think there was any real benefit in it. I went through the motions and I ticked those boxes, and now that time's over. You know, the thing is about doing stuff, being in the world. I don't want to be in the bed, I want to be in the world. See you later. Bye.
Everyone has a fear of death. Culturally, I don't think we deal with dying well. I think that even more so now, the westernization of our cultures has put death into a much more secretive two-heart basket. I think we dramatize dying as something that doesn't happen often. And that's what we need to try and explore with our cultures, how we can look after patients when their treatment fails. Patients don't fail us, treatments do.
Oh, hi, mate. I feel bad this morning. First time I felt quite this worried. Maybe it's my imagination. I hope so. Things will no doubt pick up later on, but I think I should try not to fight or struggle too much from now on. I really feel that if and when there is a last day, there will be no drum roll. I reckon it'll be more like choc-coated regret. Hopefully a bit of an ironic laugh in there somewhere, and maybe even a door with closure written on it. And that'll be it. I'm up for something this week. You get a bit tired of looking down the barrel of this stuff daily. Failing that, maybe the next week. I know I want to pull the roller door down today. It's blowing a gale up here. Speak soon. Mark. When my father was dying a while ago, about 8 years ago,
he actually had cancer as well, and I became involved with helping him wind up his affairs and this and that. And one of the things we did was bought some space in this little wall. So my father's buried in this wall, or interned, some of his ashes. And there's a space for my mother and there's a space for me. It's a little confronting to have to come to terms with this kind of thing, because I really didn't think that I would need to use it, you know, for another, you know, however many years. But I'm quite happy now. I don't have to go through negotiating all this. It's already organised. So happy days for me. I don't think I'm afraid of dying. Everybody's just sort of arrived at this belief that it's a bad thing. It's bad. I mean, who said? I mean, perhaps it's fantastic. Maybe it's just there's a threshold that I'll pass over, and, you know, there's a building kind of rumble in the background and the angels getting their horns out and, you know, all that sort of thing. I suspect it's not like that at all. Perhaps it is for some people. I don't think that it's going to be like that for me. Like, but I'm, you know, as we're talking about it and I'm thinking about it, I'm actually quite curious. I mean, it's kind of not that great a day. It wouldn't be a bad thing to do later on. I actually only get one crack at it, though. That's the thing, yeah. Because I'm a perfectionist, I think I could have played my cards a little bit better. And they're my regrets. The way I've played it and the way I've behaved, and there's points that I wish I could have exercised a little bit more integrity and grace. But after some quiet time, you know, it's fine. You know, I do the best I can most of the time. It's great to have had a little girl. You know, to have her in an imperfect way is better than not to have had her, I think. Being able to exercise in some way the full range of things that a man might hope to experience. Yeah.